All righty then. It looks like I might have did it right this time. Hey, buddy.
Hey, sorry I'm late. Had a IMG event running right up to the minute here.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Huh. Alrighty. Whew. No big deal, though. I just started. So I need to find a new platform. So we're using Zoom right now, and it doesn't look bad. And I don't mind it, but I kind of want to do something else. You know what I mean? So that there's an opportunity where, let's say, I'm doing an interview or something, and I don't want to do it live, but I have I can kind of do it live.
So what platform are you thinking?
I'm not really sure. I was looking at OBS to see if there's a better way. Remember, we were working on figuring out how to hook that up with Skype. That works. The downside is where we can get used to, if I crash, the Zoom stays. So everyone doesn't lose, you know what I mean? So as long as there's someone else in there, I'm good. The live stream is safe. If we do live interviews through OBS, though, and say the internet crashes over here, then it's gone.
Yeah, you've lost the show.
Exactly. So there's like a balance, trying to figure that balance. And I like having you on, but I can do stuff with OBS without you here. So how do I bring Ted in to OBS to leverage those features at the same time without worrying about losing the internet? And it's all like,
About to say, oh no, my value is less than a green screen.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure it out. I'm still banging it around. Look for like Zoom alternatives. I don't think it would be too bad if they would actually remove the stupid watermark, or at least let me pay for a higher plan to remove the watermark. But right now, the way their pricing is set up, to remove that Zoom, I have to get the business plan with 10 users. So essentially I have to pay $195 a month to just get that gone. And I don't have 10 users. So
yeah, it's pricey.
Yep. I could do a group buy, just get like 10 people, and then I'll buy the 10 users. They'll pay me the $19.95 a month, and then we can all stream Zoom for without the icons in there. So that'd be interesting. Not that I would, as a black hat, I would condone such a thing. So how you doing? You said you had an event over there at IMG?
Yeah, we're just having a Remo hangout, so just networking.
Oh yeah, okay. The hangout days. Yeah, I meant to do that, and I just got stupid busy putting the show together and stuff.
Yeah, that show creation takes a lot of time.
Yeah. Well, it probably wouldn't be so bad if I wasn't such a procrastinator. So with that, welcome everybody. Welcome to episode 155 of SEO This Week. And thank you all for joining us, and I appreciate it. Hopefully you guys can hear all our banner and stuff. And if everything is, the audio's good and all that, we're going to go ahead and get started. I want to show you something. Let's share my screen. There we go. All right. So if you notice, remember I was talking before the design stuff that is all in play now on Digital Ear. The new design is there, and it looks horrible, and that's on purpose. So if you guys come to my website and you see broken stuff, etc., it is all on purpose. It is part of recording the courses for What Ranks and SIA. And as I go through and fix these things and implement SIA tests and implement all the Brainiac stuff that Ted showed me and implement all my schema stuff that I know, I'm going to record that and that's going to go into one of those two places. So I'm pretty excited about it. I will notice that there is a few quirks. So if you get a theme from Visual Bakery, they have a like a base theme that you can start off and do stuff with. And for whatever reason, the plugin, the theme, and my server are not getting together, and I can't use the front end editor of Visual WP Bakery in my browser and I can't figure it out. So the server doesn't know why, server guys don't know why, the WP Bakery guys don't know why. So if you ever had that problem and you know a solution, I would appreciate your help in fixing that.
Yeah, I've got 99 problems, but WordPress ain't one.
The good thing is, well, that's the difference between you and me. You will actually like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna bang this out and do the HTML stuff, and I'm like, that takes too long. I just want to write my stuff and push go. You know what I mean? So that's why I do it this way. I actually tried to take your advice and go pure HTML, and it was so painful, and I hated doing it every time, filling in and fixing the blocks and all that madness. But maybe one of these days I'll get a little bit better and make a template for myself and use Dreamweaver a little bit more efficiently, and then I can knock it out.
Well, if you're actually blogging, then yeah, you kind of need something like WordPress. If you just have a static 5-page website, you don't need WordPress at
Yeah.
all. So it depends what you need.
Right. And even with blogging, if you're doing blogging, I don't even know if you would say you need WordPress. You just have to, I would think you'd have to leverage mind maps a little bit better so that you can make sure that your structure that you're building is all right. You know what I mean? So, you don't, URLs are there and you're keeping track of that all that madness. But one of the benefits of WordPress, I guess. But we'll see. Maybe one day I won't be so lazy. So some of the features, widgets and all this stuff, you guys will see it when you go to the page to get the link. So that'll all be changing. Trying to fix this madness. I don't know what the hell my devs were doing here. So I got to fix all that. Footer stuff they destroyed. So there's a lot of things that need to be fixed, which is good because that's more content for the course. And on top of that, it's probably a good lesson for me is the devs that I used to use this, that I did this with, I used to use them for client sites and they were great. And I told them, I gave them what I wanted to do. I gave them an Oxygen. And that builder, I don't know if they didn't read the instructions on Oxygen or what. And I to my, to their credit, I don't even know how to use Oxygen all that well. I just wanted them to build it with that so I can learn it a little bit better. Because it's a really cool builder. But they build it in such a way that even I can use it. So I got mad and deleted the whole demo site. And I paid them another set of money to build it in WP Bakery, which I know really well. And typically they're always good with WP Bakery. And this time they acted like I asked them to build a Taj Mahal out of pure HTML because it was problem after problem after problem. So.
Well, when it works, it's great, but when something in WordPress fails hard, it's usually a hair-pulling nightmare.
Yeah. Well, and I've never really had significant issues with WP Bakery. I've had the front page editor thing going on here now, but typically it's a really good plugin. It was easy to use, easy to learn, easy to get into the system. But I don't know what's going on with it now. But I think what's going to happen is on the other side of this, while I'm, fixing this, I'll build out the site again in Oxygen and maybe even switch it over one more time. which ain't gonna hurt anything. I kind of want to get it right so I can leave it alone at that point and start doing promotion stuff a lot better, right? So we'll see how that works out. But anyway, I hope you guys like the new design. It's a little less, cartoony and a lot more clinical, which is something that I prefer. If you see all my websites are usually all black and white because I'm a horrible designer anyway. So um, if you have any suggestions or stuff, drop them into the YouTube or come onto the website. Use the comment feature. I leave the backlinks on. They're all do follow. Uh, so, um, you know, come help me out. I'd appreciate it. So let's get on with the news. Ted, we talked about this one in, I think it was probably one of the IMG hangouts where we were just kind of BSing about testing stuff. And Cyrus Shepard, he's saw all the banter about H1 tags. Should you need them? Should you only use one? Do the AV matter? Et cetera, et cetera. And he put together his test. And basically, SEOs, there's two camps of SEOs. There's ones that say, hey, you should have your keyword in your H1 tags, and that you should only use one. And then there's other ones that say it doesn't matter. John Mueller says it doesn't matter, and you can use them as often as you want. And those two groups were, pounding heads. And I think this is going to go on till the end of days. But he decided that he was going to test it, and we talked about it in Revo, and it was an interesting discussion about the methodology of how they did it. So first they had a website, and it says that's the Moz blog, but it was on a different brand name, I guess. I'm a little confused about it, but basically the entire website, all of their headlines were all H2s, just the way that the site was designed. So as part of this test, what they did is went in there and manually changed half of those posts or pages from H2s to H1s. And then they watched, and this is where I have an issue with it, is they watched the traffic, and they used traffic as the measure of whether it was H1 or H2s.
Yeah, if there's, the reason traffic is a problem. Sorry. The reason traffic is a problem is that if these pages are zero search volume keywords that they're targeting, traffic won't change.
Yeah.
So now if he's not sharing the details about the keywords, we don't know what we're looking at.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of ifs, like what are the keywords? Did these posts already have traffic? And I'm assuming from this graph here is a little like weird to read, but I'm assuming from this that it already had traffic. And if you're reading this, it looks like traffic even fell off. What is this? What is the interest in the search terms? Are they seasonal search terms, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And it's a marketing blog, I'm assuming, because it's a Moz-based thing. So as we know, and I'm sure you know, Ted, is the trends with marketing and the things you look up when those change over time. So a post, an evergreen post, unless it's on the basics, typically doesn't really stay evergreen. So,
well, I think this post also missed the important detail. The reason one H1 is important, at least historically, I haven't checked on this lately, but the reason one H1 is important historically has been Bing, because they would report it as an error in Bing Webmaster Tools that your page is malformed. So if you wanted to rank well in Bing and you wanted to eliminate that page problem, you would have one H1 on your page.
Right.
So from the Google standpoint, historically, again, if you looked at the data, there have been entire seasons where H2, H3, and H4 outperformed H1 in single variable testing. So in terms of Google, yeah, at least some of the time, other headings outrank H1s, meaning having only H1s doesn't make much sense.
How many tests have you done like that, like over the period to see if H1 outranked H2 or H2, H3, H4?
If keyword density is the number one tested factor, I'd say probably headings is the number two tested
Number
factor.
two test factor. That'd be
I mean,
nice.
that goes back to Black Hat World, all the way back to, I'd say, 2007.
Uh-huh.
So
Interesting.
that's been happening for a long, long time.
Huh. Well, I did a little test, and basically what I did is I took one of Ted's tests because he's got the specifications in his testing tool. It makes it easy to copy the stuff that he's done. And here are the results that I got. And I'm not using traffic, I'm using rankings. You'll notice that I have 780 testing pages. So what Ted did is he put together a test that tested all of the HTML tags. I wouldn't recommend doing a page with 78 pages or doing a test with 78 pages across your 10 sites anymore because the indexing drops off. But as you can see, H1 is right there. It's holding strong and it's behind the A tag, but still there's a title, keyword in the URL, the A tag, and then the H1 tag. And that stayed consistently. I have a whole bunch of these different pages and stuff, but that stayed consistently across the board for quite some time. And this is February 19th. This happens to be one that I just picked it out randomly out of the pile, but
Well,
it's right there.
the cool one to me in that test is the keyword and URL and title tag,
Yeah.
because there's this weird thing where you get these gestalt factors where when two things are in agreement, they become powerful than either of the components.
Right.
And so, there are probably more gestalt factors where when multiples of these zones all agree on the exact same tuning, that you create these super factors.
Yeah,
And
that's the next set of tests. Once the indexing starts getting fixed, I want to start doing that. Keyword and title tag. What if I do a keyword, URL, title tag, and H1? You
yep.
know what I mean? And keep going across the board. I don't really have to go all that far because I would venture to say, I wouldn't even count them as useful
Yeah,
for
you're
most of these.
you're down in TF IDF territory. These are all, yeah, your keywords help a little, but it's all kind of equivalent.
Yeah, it's all just, okay, thanks for putting it there kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think it's cool that strong tag, bold, and emphasis tag are all below the controls. So,
They didn't used to be. That changes.
yeah, I noticed that before. It was strong tag used to beat all the controls, and then it dropped. And there was a couple of updates during the running of this test, and then everything fell below all the controls, and then strong tag kind of just hung in there a little bit. So,
And caption tag is a great example of why you need controls. Look, it beat 4 controls. Isn't that a positive result? Well, no, it should have beat all 10.
yeah. Well, yeah, if you only have four controls.
Strong tag beat 9 controls,
Beat
but it
nine
should
controls.
have beat all 10.
Right. Let's see. Okay, and then I want to look at the other version. Let me close these. Here's the one I took on the 29th. You can see one of the reasons why I kind of recommend not doing this is all my tests with like 10 and 12 pages. I got one with 30 pages. They are all still 100% indexed. This one's got 78 pages. And I guess you could take it as these tags matter so little that Google just like, let's get rid of them. There could be an argument for that. Uh, but as you can see, even the control pages fell out of the index, so it's a little bit harder.
Yeah,
However, the trend here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
we
It's
have a
like steady all the way across.
we have a running theory that if search volume decreases, then very low quality pages for no volume keywords get de-indexed first.
That makes
So we're
sense.
currently experimenting with throwing search volume at test keywords to keep them indexed.
Like just having the something go and search that fake keyword over and over again or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. So that Google says, oh, this keyword has more value than other stuff we could de-index. So
Huh.
you're fighting at the bottom. You're trying to be the best of the worst content
Right.
because you're a single variable test. So
Huh.
if your keyword has some lucrative volume, it might be more worthy of being indexed then.
That would be only worth doing if you're doing a continuation test, right? Like if
Well,
I
they're
wanted
all
to just let this
continuations.
run over and over and like continuously, then I would set something up to do that.
You'd always want to do that though if you have a leaderboard style test, because you'd want to repull the leaderboard to see how's it doing today.
Right.
So if you can keep them alive with search volume, that's the dream.
Well, I'd say that my other tests with low page count are all at 100%. 96% or higher is my average right now, and they're sticking.
Yep. So it's an allocation problem at the keyword level. So no search volume means no allocation,
Huh.
or not good allocation.
Right. Or not good, as in let's not do a whole bunch, right? So
Yeah.
like this one here is they're averaging what 20, 30 is the lowest, I think. Oh, there's 32 is the lowest ranking. So maybe there's not a whole lot of people searching for it. We'll keep 30-ish pages in there and the rest of you pound sand kind of thing.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you want a better resource allocation for your test keyword, we got to figure out what triggers that in Google. And our hope is search volume.
Huh. Interesting.
And that begs the question, can you prime it? Can you start search volume on a keyword so that Google wants content to index? And then you just happen to provide it and Google's already primed for showing it and prioritizing it.
Do you think that'll trigger other features like you also did you mean XYZ or we're showing the results for this because you search for that kind of
Who
thing?
knows? But it could totally change how people do product launches. So you have a new digital product coming out. You should prime the marketing keyword first, then build the content and give it to Google when Google's desperate for something to show for the search volume that has no content.
Huh. That's interesting. Cool. Well, there you go, folks. If you want to test something weird, go break out your CTR tool and use it for something useful.
Somebody asked, how many tags in total did Ted test? My original specification did the entire HTML5 spec. It did not index well.
Yeah, and this one was 78. But I'll go through here and clean this up. And there's some other ones that are not in here that look interesting to me.
Yeah. The
And
sad
then,
thing, the sad thing is, back in 2007, you could index the entire HTML spec. Google would index all of them.
yeah.
So we lost an ability when Google started limiting the allocation in the index.
Yeah. I don't know. I think maybe you could do like divide it up by 30 or 20 or whatever and figure out, all the ones that beat the controls and whittle it
Yeah,
down a
you
little
could
bit
make
slower.
a bracket. You could do them in brackets. So I'm
Yeah.
going to do, these 30 here and these 30 here, and then I'll have the winners face off.
Right.
So if you wanted to find, the best factors, yeah, you'd have to have a tournament of tests.
Yeah. Well, I launched 7 this weekend and I got another 7 more to go. So I'm looking forward to it. Let's see how the indexing works. Let's see. Google featured snippets, a 2020 SEO guide. This is actually a post by Lily Ray. She puts out some really good content. I know I'm pretty hard on search engine journal, but really it's only one writer that bothers me. But she's looking at some of the changes and rolling those up for us, which is really cool, including how BERT affected feature snippets, some of the changes in presentation, how Google is planning on getting rid of this, the right side featured snippet bar. I don't know if it's going to affect and I don't know, maybe you heard Ted, is it going to affect brands too? So if you search for digital ear right now, you get the right side bar. Are they going to move that into the search results and mix it in there as well? And then if thinking on a CTR perspective, like what is the point of doing that? I don't really get the point of moving that over. Uh, Maybe just to hide, so they can place ads in between the featured snippet selections, etc. That might be something, but I
Yeah.
really don't understand what they're going for with that one.
Well, it's probably a real pain to maintain. Like the presentation layer is probably what's getting in the way. And they probably want to make better use of real estate. Like when you look right above it, there's just pure blank space right above it.
Right.
That's wasted pixels. Fill it. But if they got rid of that, then you could have wider pages. You could get more results and ads above the fold. And, there's probably some tuning revenue going on here. Like if they get more ads above the fold, that's better for Google's bottom line.
The one thing I was thinking is you see how it's got that URL in there as well, and since they changed that, where if you have the snippet, you're not in the organic results. Maybe it was too hard to do that programmatically when it was over there. So if they move that completely out of there, that they eliminate that.
Oh yeah, they could have easier enforcement of the rules.
Yeah,
That makes a lot of sense right there.
that's about the only thing I could think of and why the purpose of doing that would be.
That's probably the likely theory at the moment is it just made it difficult to enforce an algorithm somewhere. So get rid of it.
Let's see, target text functionality, adding that in. This is a interesting thing. You guys want to read that over and see how you can leverage it a little bit more. I'm not playing with this one too much. I don't really go for featured snippets on purpose. So if I get them, most of the time it's usually on accident. But if you're going after them on purpose, and check that out. And then just some more statistics and stuff kind of thrown in here to talk about whether it's good or not. I still have yet to see a study, and I know there's a bunch of people that claim they are doing it, the before and after traffic results from when they implemented the changes of feature snippet. I'm pretty interested in seeing that. So if you guys have some data on that, like did you get more snippets and you lost traffic, or did you get more snippets and you increased traffic? That would be pretty good to know.
Well,
to see if it's worthwhile to go after.
When you share that data, please share the average CPC and the average monthly volume for the term, and whether or not it's a localized term or a global term, because that'll put it in context.
Right. It would still, even if you don't want to do all that, you remember Ted's a scientist, so he looks for these things. But if you don't want to do all that, that still information is still good to know. So, I think Steve Toth is running one. He got out of FreshBooks. He was their in-house SEO. He quit, and now they outsourced his SEO to him. So he's starting his own little agency thing going on, and he supposedly had a test running on feature snippets and its effect on FreshBooks, because he was really good at capturing those. So looking forward to that data if it ever comes out. I'll keep an eye out on SEO Notebook, see if it's ever published for you. This is Ahrefs' 12 best practices that everyone should follow. If you're using some testing fodder, this is probably good for you. Just to check it out. I think I pretty much agree with most of this stuff. Use HTTPS, make sure your pages load fast. Do keyword research before you write stuff. That should be good. Match search intent. That's kind of, that should be good to do. Number 5, target a topic in your wheelhouse. I disagree with that. Target a topic that's going to make you money. Just because you know it, like it, and love it doesn't mean people are going to pay you for it. So that should be part of your keyword research. Liking the topic and making money off of it is kind of like an extra bonus, but just, follow your dreams and do what you want to do. Yeah, but maybe you want to do it, or 10 people, and you can't live off of the income that you get out of that. So think about that. Let's see. Use target keyword in 3 paces. This is pretty interesting. Title tag, H1, and URL. That's supported by testing, so we know it's true. Short descriptive URLs. I think this, Ted, what do you this one has been running around for quite a while. And I think it's really, for me, it's really because it's easier for a user to remember that versus ranking. What do you think?
Well, to my knowledge, very few people ever type URLs, especially to inside pages. So, I probably wouldn't type the short one or the long one. I would click links, So in terms of memorability, I don't think that's a big thing. Memorability and shortness on the domain name is something that people actually do. They need to remember it and type in the domain. But I've never seen somebody type in a slug for an inner page of that's almost never happens.
I do that almost every day.
Yeah, but I'm talking about real.
I record myself doing it just so you can say, you can't say that anymore.
Yeah. Well, let's go to your grandma's, tell her to type the URL of that inner page and see if she can do it. It's not something that's going to be a high volume manual thing that searchers do.
Okay, so but what about SEO wise? Was there, like, what is the value? I had my keywords in there: tooth abscess, home remedy. But what if I did, the whole question thing?
Well,
do I lose something out of that?
Super easy to test. Just make 10 test pages that have random words ending in keyword and make the URLs all different lengths and see if they line up. My guess is they won't. They won't line up. It'll be random. Google doesn't care. It's more important that it's got good keyword matches. Like, I would want an exact match in the title and the URL slug and the H1, because that's the Gestalt super factor. But in terms of that exact match, shorter being better, I don't think that's true. That's kind of like saying you'll rank better if your target keyword is shorter. It doesn't make much sense.
Okay. I would think, as a webmaster thing, if you have a little bit of extra length in there, it's easier to have to not really worry about. Let's do tooth abscess home remedy, but I have 15 home remedies, and I don't want to put them all on one page, and I have, like,
Yeah, and these are equivalent. These are different keywords. If you took all 3 of those examples and typed them into Google, you would get 3 different result sets because they're different target keywords.
Right.
They're drinking the Kool-Aid that long tail doesn't matter and Google makes all these equal somehow. But testing and just field observations have shown that these are 3 different keywords.
Makes sense. So that's a good one. There's a good test right there out of that one. Compelling title and description. That's good. I like this one. Let's see what else we got in here. Write thorough content. What is defined thorough content? It's a little bit harder for me to jump on the bandwagon with that one, especially still today. Kyle's lorem ipsum tests are still ranking. They're still ranking number 1. So if Google wants thorough content, how do we define thorough content? And then rhinoplasty, apparently Google wants Latin. So,
well, what's funny is, after all of Google's big updates in January, Kyle's pages are now 1 and 2. They're multiplying.
So maybe Kyle is screwing up Bert and the training set that is learning from in rhinoplasty. We'll see.
Bert's
uh,
learning from Kyle.
And let's see, add internal links from relevant pages and get more backlinks is kind of duh. But it is all best practices, really. So that's the purpose of this article. It's really good. These kind of things that everyone should be doing. I would check it out and maybe look at your checklist for your team and make sure you're covering all this stuff. This was an interesting one. It's from Matt Southern. It's a breakdown of Google's advice on how to hire an SEO. One is the interview. There's just some standard questions. These are also a good set of questions for you if you are talking to clients and stuff. The more of these questions you know, the more you'll get into the mind and the thought process of the client, and it helps you weed out those people that are, I'm just doing this kind of a last minute thing. I need business now. And those clients typically always turn into pain in the asses. And these kind of questions will get you through that. And it'll also get them thinking about other stuff beyond SEO so that you can approach them for new web design, taking on a PPC campaign, bringing on a social media campaign, and all that stuff. So this is really, really good. And check references. I like and I dislike this one. Like some agencies, like typically mine, I don't share a lot of clients' information unless I've already had preposition for doing it. And in which case, go ahead if it's there, knock yourselves out. But some agencies don't like to share clients at all. Not that you're trying to hide or something like that, but I'm taking on this client, and then you have maybe for whatever reason you happen to make someone mad, and it's the way that it is, and that negative reputation carries over to your clients and stuff. Or they start attacking your clients' websites. I've seen that before. I've seen examples where people are going and finding out clients and trying to steal them, and purposely doing misinformation and talking crap about agency X, Y, or Z and stealing their clients. So a lot of that is kind of hidden stuff. So if you're going to do this taking this one here, this referencing thing, find a set like 3 to 5. We have 3 to 5 over the top SEO. They all know that we're giving out their information for references. They expect and they like the calls when other people call them on purpose. But we don't typically highlight a lot of our active clients on there. We'll put the old ones on there, no problem. But a lot of the active clients we don't do. So consider that one as when you're working to address this one. And then the technical audit. I disagree with this one. Google's saying that you should go and do a technical audit, depending on the site and stuff. That could take anywhere from 3 to 12 hours to do it, and that's typically just the crawl and looking at the crawl report and breaking that down for free. So they're saying that in order for you to get a client, you should give them 3 hours of free work, and I completely 100% disagree with that.
Like when I do a technical audit, like I can't do anything else for a week. You go into a large website and you try to find all of the things that are causing problems. That's not happening in 12 hours, and it's not happening for free.
Right.
That's crazy talk.
And especially for a larger site, because there's so many rabbit holes that you can go down and identify this problem's here or what this might be or whatever. And then he's saying that you should be able to give them the impact or the positive impact. And I have not met an SEO yet that can say beyond the stuff that's tested, like the on-page stuff. We know for a fact what we can see. We are going to expect a positive impact from doing this, but I've not met anyone that says, let's do the H1s, for example. If I change your H1s over, you're going to get 3 increased ranking positions. That's going to result in X amount of traffic and be right on. And when you say that stuff to clients hear, I'm getting 3 rankings and I'm going to get this much of traffic. And when Google doesn't do that to you, now you're the asshole. So be a little careful with that part there. But I wouldn't do this whole technical audit thing. I would spend maybe 20 minutes, do a quick look over, maybe run a sight bulb depending on how big it is, and just looks like a top 10 kind of thing. Here's the top 10 things that I see. Technically, that takes you 20 minutes. It's not going to kill anything. But if they want a full technical audit, like doing it right, then they're going to pay money for it. And at that point, they're already a paying client. So I completely disagree with doing that. That's just I don't get why Google. Well, I kind of get why Google would recommend that because not a lot of people would do it. And that's pretty much it for that one. So it was decent. Go through there, get those questions that I talked about. This is a YouTube. I'm going to get a little bit more into some YouTube ranking stuff. So here's a tool from Product Hunt. It's cool. It just pulls out the tags that you're using for you're getting out of YouTube. There is the another one that I use, TubeBuddy. You can get all the tags with TubeBuddy as well. They have a free and a paid version, and then there's one more as vidIQ. You can do it, but if you want something simple and light, it's right there. It's called Tube Snag, and it's on Chrome. This is looking at toxic backlinks and how to get them. If you have not done like a large link on it and stuff, this is a good basic way to consider and reviewing backlinks, etc. Is relying really on one of tools and the Google Search Console. I tell you that you can't do a good backlink on it with just one or two tools, and you certainly can't do it with using the data in Search Console. If you have data in Search Console, download all of the backlinks that you got. Wait a day, go back and do it again. Wait a day, go back in and do it again, and do that for like 2 weeks, and then remove duplicates. And that's a better picture of all the backlinks that Google is seeing, but you're still not going to see them all. And then when you're using these tools, SEMrush, Ahrefs, Cognitive SEO, Link Research Assistant, all that stuff, you need to pull in the backlinks from all of those backlink reporting tools, because one is they don't get all of them, but when you combine, you get a better backlink set and a more complete picture of what you're dealing with. And then they give some ideas on what to do with some backlinks and stuff, and how to identify them as toxic or whatever, the different things to follow, and then playing around with the Google Disavow tool. I will caution you that if you don't know what you're doing with the Disavow tool, just find someone who does, because maybe you have a good backlink on a website and it's on one page, and then you have a bad backlink on another website. And if you do this wrong, you'll get rid of both of those. And a lot of people that I've seen complaining about the Disavow tool, all I did is drop my rankings. Well, yeah, moron, you just removed a whole bunch of your backlinks. So even though Google, like in a manual review situation, says those are bad backlinks, the algorithm was probably still giving you some power from those. So you need to, if you disavow 100 backlinks, you're going to need to go find 100 more backlinks to counter the work that you just did. So be a little bit careful with that one. But this is a good pool. It's a good post. It's a decent basic overview of penalty recovery, at least when you're dealing with backlinks. And then finally, I picked this one for Ted, because Ted's in the ecom stuff, is why are faceted navigation pages aren't ranking. And if you're not familiar with the term, basically, if you go to Amazon.com and you turn on all those filters to find the best emo or Elmo toy for your kids, you're going through faceted navigation. And a lot of websites are having problems with indexing and stuff. And I intentionally picked this one out for Ted because I knew he would like talking about the topic of how do you deal with indexing when your website, primarily probably in e-com, is the application I would be thinking this is in, is leveraging it.
For most online retailers, you're going to want to have your default categories be able to paginate to see all products in the category. So your default of visiting a store category should allow you to browse and see everything in the category. then you hide your faceted navigation from Google. You block it in the robots.txt. You don't even draw it if it's a Googlebot user agent. You just don't let Google have any access to the faceted navigation. You're already getting all products indexed by your default category. So at that point, you're eliminating the infinite crawl, you're using your crawl budget wisely, you're making it efficient, resource efficient for Google to index the whole website. So faceted navigation always takes your default category and makes it smaller. You're filtering out stuff. So Google should get all pages off of the default categories. Google should never crawl the faceted navigation. Now, this is what most online retailers would want. The second you get to be huge, like Amazon, scale ruins everything. They can't get everything crawled and indexed, and they need Google to get to the popular segments, at which point you're probably creating specialized URLs and landing pages to get to those popular segments. But at that point, if you look at Amazon, they don't give you all of the faceted navigation in every category. What you end up doing is you type in a search in Amazon, and part of the store search is category search as well as product. You get a blend of searching for categories and searching for products.
Right.
And so you have to get that blended search strategy once you're at a large enough scale.
Huh. Interesting. Is there like what is the I guess what would be the primary indicator that Google is one crawling your faceted search, and is that a problem?
Yeah, you'll see it in your logs. You'll see Google goes into jewelry. Google filters the jewelry category by rings, or maybe that's a subcategory, which is fine. Goes into rings, filters the category by gold, filters the category by gold and by amethyst, filters the category by gold and by amethyst and by garnet, filters the, Google's going to waste a lot of time doing these infinite combinations of filters and basically seeing all the same pages it would have saw just by crawling the default category.
Right.
So eliminate that wasted crawling time for Google. Just hide the faceted navigation from Googlebot. Robots.txt it. No follow faceted navigation links. Just do everything possible to keep Google from following the faceted navigation. Make sure your default categories show all products and have the pagination that Google can crawl. So if you're doing infinite scroll, check your logs. Make sure that Google is infinite scrolling to page 2, page 3, page 4. Because if Googlebot isn't infinite scrolling, then anything on those subsequent pages is not being indexed. So just make sure your pagination is being followed and hide faceted navigation.
That'd be a good topic for 1 week. Maybe even a fight club if you're looking for topics, is how do you measure your crawl rate? How do you know Google is crawling your site effectively? And then how can you control that a little bit better?
Well, with again, scale ruins everything. So if you have a big website, you can't even look at your whole web logs. You probably have multi-gigabyte files per day. So the best you can do is scan for samples. So you more the log file, pipe to grep Googlebot, pipe to grep your thing of interest. So,
right.
Is Googlebot hitting faceted navigation? Is Googlebot hitting page 2 of infinite scroll? Those would be things that you would scan the log files for examples of.
Right. Interesting. This is a good topic. I know a lot of people talk about crawl rate and how you should optimize for it and that, but you don't see all too many people talking about, like, what do you do?
And these types of things are the things that go into a technical audit, and you cannot do that level of analysis in 12 hours. You can't do it well. So if somebody brought me a 12-hour technical audit, I probably wouldn't be impressed by it.
I think I would be more into you can't do technical audit for free.
No, a technical audit, it is, at best a week of work when done properly.
Good deal. All right, I'm going to go into questions. While I go into questions, I want to give Ted an opportunity to talk about this thing.
SEO Editor Pro. I'm supposed to be releasing an update today, so hopefully that goes well. Otherwise, tomorrow. SEO Editor Pro is an experiment on several fronts. It's the lowest price product I have ever launched, so it is rock bottom, and I'm experimenting with that to see, does that actually make up for itself in volume? If you take your price as low as it can go, do more people buy it effectively? And if that is true, then awesome, I'll keep it low. And if it is false, then this is the early bird pricing, and the price will eventually go up and you can lock it in now. So we'll see how the experiment goes. But as you know, we all like to experiment. So let's see, does price affect sales volume for software? And that's what the price experiment is. Now, the product itself is a text editor that is designed for crafting and evaluating content for SEO, but it's done so in a way that minimizes your need to be a guru at SEO. If you're a dabbler, this tool should be, approachable. So it does a lot of things for you, so you don't have to know them. But there are some aspects that you do have to understand. You still have to know HTML. You still have to understand basic concepts like keyword density and match counts. But other than that, as long as you know those things, then this tool can tell you if the content you're crafting is competitive for page 1 of Google for your target search term. So the way it works is you type in a keyword, like I'm going to make a blog post about backlink types. So you type in, types of backlinks, and you do a search. It calibrates the editor for that keyword. Then you get these content creators where you can say, put all the headings on all the pages for my keyword into one list. And in those headings are going to be backlink types. And then you can be like, well, I'm going to delete all the ones I don't like and keep all the ones I do like. And now I have this authoritative listicle of 216 types of backlinks. And it only took me 10 minutes to do it. That's kind of the idea I had in mind when I built it. Now, what kind of changed is that people like Clint look at it and go, well, I can do this other, link building strategy with it. I could do this other thing with it. So people are now taking it in tangents I did not anticipate and using it for solving other problems, which is cool, but I have to help those problems work better too, which is this update I'm about to do, which is massively huge. When Clint did his video about the editor, I saw him having friction trying to filter lists and do things like that. So this next update solves a lot of the problems Clint had in his workflows for using it for his problems. And so we're going through those iterations. It's still a young product, but in the next day or two, it's going to get noticeably better.
Nice. Looking forward to it. And then I want to go ahead and mention the SEO Intelligence Agency. You guys know I took over that thing from Kyle when he moved on to Internet Marketing Gold, which is the membership for Kyle and Ted. and Andrew. I don't remember Andrew's last name. So if you want to check out Internet Marketing Gold, you want to still follow Kyle, knock yourselves out. This is SIA. Same bat time, same bat channel. We do tests on different elements. We've knocked out quite a few tests in February. March, we're looking pretty good already. We got like another 15, 20 tests going in there. A nice, lively testing group of people or testers that are bringing their own ideas and concepts to it as well. So we should get a lot of new stuff and looking at new things and looking at backlinks and internal linking. We got stuff looking at more on-page stuff, playing around with that, combining the test results and making them so that you can go to fill out the so what, that kind of stuff. So looking forward to publishing all of those. So you check us out at SEO Intelligence Agency, join SIA. And that's, the people that we have in there are, they're SEO practitioners, marketers, digital marketers, they're in-house teams, they're freelancers, etc. And they just don't have time to test things, and they need one, to know that X, Y, and Z works, but two, to have the data to just go to the decision holders and say, this is why we need to do it. So not only do we do tests for out of our own curiosity, but members can bring those test ideas to us too, and then we give them some backup when they're trying to process new things. So check out SIA, join SIA.com. I'm actually going to start doing some, we do a monthly webinar for the members. We're going to start a monthly webinar for free people, just for free, so you can get exposed to SIA, and we'll pick a select number of tests and present those on a monthly basis, just for free, so you can kind of see what kind of the stuff that we're doing and build that out. Courses will be included in SIA. We have 2 meetups a year. One will be SEO Rockstars. That's actually a conference, and that'll be part of the SIA membership if you're already in. And then we hold another meetup, typically probably around someone else's conference. So our first one is going to be at SEO Spring Training in Phoenix in the first week of April. So if you're coming, sign up. And you can come meet Dory and I. And then we're going to try to hold another one in Europe. We're waiting to see if the conference in Europe that we're looking at it's going to be in Greece, by the way, is actually going to take place. And if that does, we want to hold another one in Greece. So we're looking forward to that as well. Ted, thank you very much for showing up. I know you're a busy dude.
Thank
you. Appreciate you taking the time. And everyone, questions. That's what I was going to talk about here. So Mike Calvin is, what a link in PLR duplicate content will a link in PR duplicate content pass juice? So if they're using an article that's all over the web on Web 2, they're hitting that page with more sites is more strength than other sites that are using it. Will it pass juice? I'm going to go on a limb and say that it will. That page on its own might not rank well, but it's a link. It's designed for linking. It's a link building property is what you're doing it for. So ranking of it is not really my number one priority anyway. Would you get more juice out of duplicate or unique content versus PLR? I don't know. That's a good question. Well, I've not really tested that.
Typically, for any given page of content your server hosts, there are an infinite number of possible URLs for that page. You could vary the URL parameters. You could vary the anchor text using the pound hash references. You could vary, secure, insecure, dub, non-dub. There are so many ways to vary the URL that, content being duplicated is probably the most common problem on the web. And given that, Google has built their system to canonicalize to the most appropriate URL for the content. So the links will still all be out there. Google will still know about all the URLs it discovers for duplicate content. They'll be in the link graph, but only the canonical appears in search. But all the backlinks from the duplicates are still in the link graph. So so the question you're ultimately asking is, in the PageRank link graph, does Google canonicalize the URL? And probably some of the time, yes, and probably some of the time, no.
That is the most vague answer I've ever heard you give. And it's link building, though. That's the problem with testing link building, is because there's so many. Like, what is the authority of the page? What are the backlinks coming to it? What is the value that Google is holding on that content? How do you say that this page is more valuable than that page? That's one of the biggest challenges of link building and testing it. Like, just because, for example, we're doing one, and let's say you're looking at the URL rank of a page using your Ahrefs, using URL rank of one page, and you want to get a backlink from it. And let's say it's a 50, for example. How many other URL rank 10s do you have to get in order to beat that 50? So if I have 150 and 10 10s, does that work? Well, then here's the problem you got. What is the quality of the page? How did that URL 50 get at the backlinks? Is there one backlink from a stupid, super powerful site giving that URL, the UR50, that score? Or is there a whole 1,000 cheap ones that are bringing the UR50 and score? There's so many factors and talking about the power of backlinks and what matters for them and how to measure them. And I don't think FCOs are ever going to agree that, this is how you measure it now, with PR no longer being publicly there for everyone to see. It's kind of.
Well, the math is there. I mean, we know from back in the day that PR8 online retailers, Kmart, Sears, whatever, they all typically had, about 12 million backlinks in that ballpark. So PR9, you add a 0 to it. PR7, you take away a 0 to it. You can still figure out, where you roughly are on the scale just by the numbers.
I don't. That would be the assumption that the numbers is all that Google is looking for versus quality of those links as well.
When you get to numbers that big, you're talking about the average link on the internet.
Yeah.
So how many average links do you have?
Right.
Now, if all of your links are below average, you have a problem. But if you can do an average internet link, then you're just talking numbers.
But most practitioners aren't going to be dealing with the millions of backlinks, right? So they're looking at 50 to 100, for example, is kind of their average.
Yeah.
So.
Well, 50 to 100 isn't going to get you very far.
I disagree,
rank 8, sure.
Fight time. I rank pages 50 to 100 backlinks all day long.
Well, yeah.
And I don't even. I think that. So this is a good fight topic.
I agree. I concede that you can get certain keywords to rank with very few backlinks. That's totally true. But most people are looking at their trophy keyword that's hard to break into, and typically 100 backlinks isn't enough. So,
yeah, which it depends on obviously keyword background and stuff. But I will say that you can look at the search results and you can see a disparity in the amount of backlinks that sites have that are ranking. So just as an example, to spit off numbers, everyone has 100 and then there's just one outlier with 15. And you're going to, how or why did that beat? You know what I mean? So, which brings into the question, is it the backlink or the quality of the backlinks that's supporting that website that's creating that disparity?
Well, if you ultimately want to be, what was considered a PageRank 6, then, you're going 12 million down to 1.2 million to be a 7, down to 120,000 links. So you want to have a 2-year plan to get to 120,000 links. So you're dividing, 120,000 by 24. That's how many links you need to be accruing per month. So you want to get a decent source of getting that number of links. And maybe you do that through press releases. Maybe you do that through, Black Hat link building. Maybe you do that through other means. But, you got to figure out what's your goal. Where's the point of diminishing returns on link building? And what's your strategy and time frame to execute on it? And then you can usually turn that into a monthly spend that gets you to your goal over a period of time.
I don't know. We're testing it in SAA. I think that, to me, I like the idea of the test. I didn't come up with the concept. We're going to get the benefit of seeing the test results in that and knowing a way to filter your backlink opportunities to get the least amount of possible with the most amount of impact would be significant, I think, for everybody. So I'm looking forward to seeing how all that comes out. And I didn't even scratch the surface of the stuff that they're testing there. I just kind of gave a general thing, but we'll see how that plays. And the last question is, let's say I have, this is from Mike. Let's say I have a cloud stack with 3 to 5 pages in a chain. I'm assuming they're all in and linked together. The last page links to the money site. Oh, no, they don't. You made a link circle. Then I send GSA blast or SAPE to the first link in the chain. Does that juice get stronger through the chain? You'd have to find a way to measure link juice. And my thinking would be that it would kind of balance out. So the GSA would make, as an example, the last page at Trust Flow 20. We'll just use Trust Flow because it's fun. That Trust Flow 20 links to the other page. In theory, doesn't have any backlinks because of the way you set it, thus making that one a Trust Flow 20-ish, right? So now I have this Trust Flow 20 going up in the theory, if that's how it works. And then it sends that Trust Flow 20 to your money page. But I don't think that is how it's measured inside of Majestic. And I think that if I have one page, one backlink that's a Trust Flow 20 linking to another page, is probably a TF1 now. And then now that TF1 is linking to a TF0, which now that page is 0, and it goes that way. So I'm not sure, like in a measurement standpoint, if that's going to help. From a practical standpoint, it's really easy to test. If you're using, my guess is you're using a cloud stack builder, so build it out. Build five of them. Hit the first one, the fifth one with GSA. See if you get any movement on money site. If you don't, hit the fourth, and then that'll kind of tell you. You can probably set that up 5 different times to see where you have to hit it to get the actual benefit from your chain.
Yeah, for a long, long time, for years and years and years, Google has never passed 100% of the page rank through to the child pages.
Yeah.
So you get, 10 points in, you're always going to be sending 8 points out. So
right.
Every layer of linking is going to diminish. And so you shouldn't get perpetual ranking machines where you set up, 5 pages this way and it's an infinite loop of page rank. Stuff like that shouldn't exist in the model. If it does, it's extremely exploitable, and that's a treasured find if you found it. I'm skeptical that anything like that exists.
Yeah, I think it'd be hard to say like this is how that works. How does link juice work, and how does that flow? You can kind of guesstimate and use the third-party metrics to sort of figure out what you're doing, but it'll be a little bit harder. And then your second question is, that's really an indexing question. And so it's, would a GSA blast be necessary to spark it, or could the indexer on their own do the chain? That's an indexing question versus a link juice question. And then now you're talking crawling. So if I build the 3 to 5 and I only submit the 5th one to the indexer, will Google follow the rest of them? hell yeah, that's your guess as good as mine on that one. Maybe if you had the fifth one have a link to all of them, like I do how I build my silos. So number 5 links to 4, 3, 2, and 1. Number 4 links to 5, 3, 2, and 1. Maybe if it was doing like that, that might help with your indexing. But the GSA, really, that would I did a test on GSA with GSA and their indexer footprint in there, and it didn't do dick. So I think it would really depend on your target sites that you're using and stuff. So if you do all contextual GSA blast to those 5 Amazon pages, and all those are all interlinked to each other, and then the last one, which I wouldn't do, I'd link all 5 of them to the money page and then build that, same as I would build my structure. I wouldn't have a 5-tier deep backlink ring. It's just kind of a waste of time and waste of power, especially for if you're using the cloud site. I would hit all 5 of those with the contextual campaign with Sear, and then let that power boost up the money site. So yeah, I don't know. 10 might be differently, but I don't do. The farthest I go down is 3. To me, building out a tier 10 link network is just a waste of time and resources.
Yeah, that's too much for me. Like in online retail, we tested to no end. Having the homepage linked to the category, have the category linked to the subcategory, have the subcategory linked to the product. What we found out is the strongest scenario was homepage links to the product. Now you have limited real estate, but that was the most powerful ranking effect. So eliminating unnecessary layers of linking increases the power of your backlinks. So if you put lots of layers in, you're going to water down the strength of your backlinks more.
Yeah. It makes you feel better because you built 10 tiers of backlinks. Yippee, heck, but at the end of the day, I've never seen an example of where a 10-tier link network beat a 3-tier link network. If you're doing good links, top 1, 2, and 3s anyway, then you're going to be just fine.
And the main reason you want those tiers is to protect your business. So when Google gets upset about the links, you're taking down a domain, putting up a new domain to get back in the game and to clean up the mess.
Yeah.
So that's the primary reason, is to be able to clean your messes.
Yeah. And like in this case, he's using cloud sites. So those clouds would be, for me, those would be good tier 1s. Well, actually, the way my sites are structured, that would be technically a tier 2 because my internal supporting pages are tier 1. And then my tier 2 would, in his use case, would be the cloud stack, that 3 to 5 cloud stack to each one of those supporting ones. And then I can go all out to whatever. I can do whatever I want to directly to those cloud stacks. And now if my link network gets burned, or let's say algorithmically my linking is now hurting, all I have to do is delete my cloud stacks and I'm done. I'm done with the process. And I don't really have to go buy a new domain now because algorithmically Google told me, hey, it's not working anymore. And I just fixed the problem by deleting that noise, and I can go find out what's working now. So yeah, I think. And if you're doing a 10 tiers at the end of the day, what is that really going to help? I don't think so. That was kind of off on a tangent anyway, but
yeah, you're
hopefully
spinning your link wheels.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so a little bit long, 15 minutes long. I thank everyone for watching. If you could hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down, engagement is engagement. Remember, we put the question out there. If you have damn, I even forget the question. I've been blabbing on for so long. But if I asked you a question in here and ask you to leave some ideas in the comments, please do that. Oh yeah, digital ear, some design elements, CRO stuff. You want to toss around that, etc. Drop that in the comments on the YouTube or on the episode page on Digital Ear. You get some backlinks out of that too. I'll be promoting the show a little bit more too once all this stuff is done. And check out Ted's new tool, SEO Editor Pro. I did a video on it. I'll do another one once the new updates are released. And check out SEO Intelligence Agency. And thank you very much for watching SEO this week. Bye, everybody.